Media leaves no impact on the world when their creators hide their uniqueness instead of nurturing the potential they have within. They do not have the strength to bare their souls to others and overcome the fear of failure. You will not find any trace of this fear in Baki. It fully embraces the idea of what it means to become the absolute strongest in the entire world. It's a simple concept derived from an even simpler goal of a boy wanting to be better than his father. For better or worse, Baki shamelessly continues to expand onto a world unlike any other, one that you can recognize from any glance, largely thanks to the art style. Characters in Baki are known for their expressive faces, which often exhibit intense emotions such as determination, rage, or pain. Itagaki skillfully depicts these through exaggerated facial expressions and poses, showcasing their physical prowess and capturing the intense action of the series. The well-defined muscles, tendons, and bones, along with dramatic poses, contribute to the overall sense of movement and energy, adding excitement to the already crazy bodies. Various scars, tattoos, and other distinctive physical traits also convey how the humans in Baki are the true monsters. When I say that, I do not mean in the moral sense, but in the absurd lengths these characters will often go through in every fight. A prime example of this is Doppo vs. Dorian. My man's first reaction after losing his hand is gleefully using his stump to bash a guy's face in. The craziest part about this is that it's a normal interaction in Baki. Going over each insane moment would just be recapping the entire story. Practically every interaction between the fighters is filled to the brim with tension. Even friends will put one another into death situations just to test their strength. Any peaceful time only serves to build up anticipation for the next bombastic fight that can begin any moment. Although there are the typical tournament fights over the story, many of them take place in unique locations such as prisons or underground arenas, with different rules and conditions each. The only common thing from all these different circumstances is the graphic and intense violence. The fights are often brutal, showcasing bone-crushing strikes, bloodshed, and the physical toll that combat takes on the characters. Each strike, block, and counter flow smoothly, showcasing the skill and technique of the combatants. They have a visual impact, conveying the force and power behind it, demonstrating the weight and consequences of each blow. The movements are clear, coherent, and visually detailed. It is easy to follow what is happening at all times, allowing to understand the action without confusion, even if you do not know any martial arts whatsoever. The absurdity comes from the various characters possessing superhuman abilities, such as superhuman strength, speed, endurance, or even bizarre anatomical features. These unique traits, along with the unflinching portrayal of violence, add an element of unpredictability and spectacle to the gritty and visceral fights, making them visually striking and distinct from shows that tone down or stylize their action sequences to be more friendly. It also makes Baki initially appear to be a series where you just turn off your brain. While it can certainly be watched as mindless fun, peeling back the layer of spectacle actually shows how much real-world knowledge Itagaki has. Compared to the typical story, the fights surprisingly play out how they would in our world. All the unrealistic aspects of the story are only a result of this series fully exploring the concept of peak human performance. Instead of solely relying on supernatural or magical powers like most shows, the characters undergo extreme training regimens in order to push the human body to its absolute limits and beyond. Their dedication extends so far that characters will happily deafen themselves to become stronger and maximize their martial arts. Speaking of that, there is a wide range of fighting disciplines, including Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, karate, Muay Thai, wrestling, sumo, and more. The fights are often detailed and well researched, showcasing the intricacies of different fighting styles and techniques through the character's strategy, intelligence, and tactical thinking. Characters analyze their opponent's weaknesses, exploit vulnerabilities, and develop specific plans to gain an advantage in combat. It adds a layer of complexity to the fights and showcases the importance of mental acuity in addition to physical prowess. The way characters fight, their choices, and their reactions during combat provide insights into various aspects of the story. Obviously, it distinguishes characters from one another. You get a sense as to what strength means to each character as they engage in more fights and hone their particular style. As the characters evolve, it develops the larger narrative of the story. Baki is an exploration of what strength means, so every fight holds philosophical questions about how to achieve it. For example, it asks whether steroids should be considered cheating, what it means to be fearless, how important loved ones are, and whether martial arts really do make someone strong. As you might have guessed by now, Baki does not answer these questions the same way that a typical shonen would. In Baki, the only thing that matters is who ended up winning. Regardless of the circumstances, losing simply means that you are weak. Time after time, we see the characters overcome unfair scenarios like fighting against multiple enemies, people with weapons, and surprise attacks. Baki shows how a true fighter is prepared at all times and ready to face any challenge that may come their way. Naturally, this cemented resolve of facing constant death also means that they are ready to kill without any hesitation and will happily exploit any weaknesses that their opponents may have. This ideology expressed throughout the entire series is what fundamentally ruins fights. After experiencing Baki personally, it became natural to view battles for how gruesome and terrifying they can really be. As I mentioned before, Baki does not hold back any punches on how far people are willing to go in a true fight. When someone wants to kill you, there is no such thing as a fair duel. You cannot and should not expect your opponents to have some sense of morals. They will fight using dirty shots, weapons, large numbers, and anything else that might tip the scales toward their favor. I know that all of this might sound like common sense, but it's only depicted this realistically in Baki. In other stories, you never see normal human beings fighting so desperately and who are willing to cheat as much as people do in our real world. Baki exaggerates elements of the story, but it also provides detailed explanations on how everything shown is based on reality. There is always a strong sentiment that what you're watching should be taken seriously. Not to dismiss other stories, but there hasn't been another one for me that evokes such a strong reaction during fights. Even when a character is said to be underhanded in stories, they will still usually give their opponents the common decency to wait until the fight is started and will not inflict a severe sense of pain onto each other. For all these reasons, Baki's genuine portrayal of fights ruins all the ones that are stylized and censored to be safer. Let me know if you can still enjoy generic fights the same way after experiencing the sincere brutality of Baki, the ultimate grappler.